Hello all. So today, July 2nd week current affairs, as we scheduled, every Saturday we will be discussing the current affairs of the week, most important current affairs, very important current affairs, targeting UPSC prelims and mains. So those important topics which we can expect in the examination hall on weekly basis, on every Saturday we will be doing the current affairs of the week. Total week current affairs we will be discussing on this week. So the issues which happened in this month, in this week, in the July month and in this week till Saturday. Yes, Ashwant, Manideep, Manikanta, the issues which happened in this week I am going to discuss right now. So the first thing with respect to discussion is delimitation in Jammu and Kashmir. You know that in 2019 Article 370 was been repealed, and as a consequence 2 union territories were being made, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Union Territory of Ladakh. So there is a requirement of delimitation of the assembly constituencies. Why? Because now it divided into Jammu and Kashmir UT and Ladakh UT. So the government of India thought that there is a requirement of making a law so that the number of legislative assemblies in the Jammu and Kashmir will be increased or decreased. So delimitation commission is one particular commission. Delimitation commission is one important commission which mainly speaks about increasing or decreasing of the constituencies, legislative assembly constituencies or parliamentary constituencies also. So for the government is planning for this delimitation commission in the constitution, the delimitation commission for the Jammu and Kashmir, so that the number of the MLAs, the number of MLAs will be increased in the Jammu and Kashmir. So if you see the map, this is the map of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the Union Territory of Ladakh. Yes, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh. So this part is the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory and that part is the Ladakh. In between there is a region called as Kargil. So now the Jammu and Kashmir legislatives, the number of MLAs will be reduced or increased according to this requirement of Jammu and Kashmir, according to the Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission. So prelims point of view, what is Delimitation Commission? Delimitation Commission means reduction or increase in number of constituencies is called as Delimitation Commission. The Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission, Yes. So the Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission has said that it will base its final report on the 2011. So for every delimitation commission they will take one census, recent census. As you know, 2021 we need to have a census, but we did not completed the enumeration of the census. So we are following the 2011 census only because of COVID-19. The proper enumeration of the population doesn't happen. If not, by the time 2021 census would be out, but 2021 census was not out because of the COVID-19. For this delimitation commission also we will be calculating the census, but 2021 is not yet out. So 2011 census we will be discussing about. So 2011 we will be taking about. We will also take into account the topography, difficult terrains. So considering all the factors, we are coming to a conclusion that yes, the Jammu and Kashmir need to be delimited, the number of legislative assemblies need to be increased. So the first delimitation commission carving out 25 assembly constituencies in then the state was carried out by the delimitation commission in 1951. So for the first time the delimitation commission in Jammu and Kashmir happened in 1951. After that no delimitation commission for Jammu and Kashmir. The recent delimitation commission is 2011. So second delimitation commission is now for the Jammu and Kashmir. So now the total number of seats in Jammu and Kashmir has been raised from 90 to from 83. Earlier it was 83. 7 more seats were being increased in the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly. So now the Legislative Assembly is having 90 MLAs with this delimitation commission. With this delimitation commission. This is apart from 24 seats which is already given to this Pakistan occupied Kashmir. This particular part is called as POC. Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So already 24 seats are there, but it is unfilled. Why? Because Pakistan occupied. But in Legislative Assembly of the Kashmir today also the 24 seats will be there, but the 24 seats will be vacant. Why? Because we believe that it is a part of the Kashmir but occupied by the Pakistan. So the delimitation commissions are very, very important. So what is the takeaway, sir? So delimitation commissions are those commissions. The number of legislative assemblies increase or decrease. Member of parliament seats in the state increase or decrease depends upon the delimitation commission. So recently a delimitation commission was been constituted in Jammu and Kashmir, which asked to increase the number of MLAs from 83 to 70. It was first in 1951, now it is 2021. Delimitation. What is delimitation? The process of fixing limits or boundaries of territorial constituencies in a state that has legislative body. Oh, this is the MLA constitution. This is this another MLA constitution. This is another MLA constituency. This is another MLA constituency, or sometimes MPs also. MPs delimitation also will happen. MPs delimitation, MPs constituency, MPs constituency. That is delimitation. So a expert body will be constituted. That expert body will find how the constituencies need to be divided, how the constituencies need to be bifurcated will be discussed by this constituency, by this delimitation commission. Number 2, delimitation. Who is going to take care about this delimitation? Delimitation is undertaken by a highly powerful commission. They are formally known as delimitation commission or boundary commission. These bodies are so powerful that its orders have the force of law and cannot be challenged before any court. Constitutional provision. Article 82, the Parliament enacts a delimitation act after every census. And Article 170, states also get divided into territorial constituencies as per the delimitation act every census. So it is having constitutional backing. Delimitation commission will be having a constitutional backing. Under Article 82 for the Parliament, under Article 170 for the states. So Constitution is giving the power to constitute a delimitation commission. So for every census there will be a delimitation commission, but we didn't had delimitation commission for every census, we had postponed it, but for Jammu and Kashmir now we are coming up with the delimitation commission in order to increase the MLA seats. That is what the current affair of this week. The next Zika virus. The next is Zika virus. I am telling you, Zika virus. Biology, disease point of view, minimum to minimum 2 questions compulsory in prelims. It might be Zika virus, it might be dengue, it might be chikungunya, it might be anything. So Zika virus, recently we observed in Kerala 4 days back. Karnataka also we observed Zika virus or Jinka virus. For the first time it was been found in Uganda, in monkey. From monkey it spread to human beings. So this is also zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease means which spread from the animals. Alarmed by the cases of Zika virus in neighboring Kerala, Karnataka has issued guidelines to prevent the spread of the disease in the state. Kerala and Karnataka is observing this Zika virus. The Zika virus is predominantly transmitted by infected mosquitoes from the Aedes genus, namely Aedes aegypti, means This is the mediator. From the animals which is suffering with this Zika virus, this mosquito will catch the parasite and it will come and it will bite the human being. So the disease will be occurring. So this mosquito is not the cause, this mosquito is the mediator, the transmitter. So which is the best transmitter for the Zika virus is Aedes. So Aedes mosquito is responsible for the transmission of this Zika virus. The Aedes mosquitoes also spread dengue, chikungunya, yellow fever. They usually bite during the daytime, mostly during the early mornings. Apart from the mosquitoes, an infected person can also spread the virus. How? How? By sexual contact. Prelims we can expect. Other than mosquitoes, what are the other causes for the Zika virus? Sexual contact is also responsible for spread of Zika virus. Virus is transmitted by Aedes aegypti mosquito. The same mosquito who transmits dengue and chikungunya. It comes from Uganda. For the first time, it is observed in Uganda country in 1947. In pregnant woman, if pregnant woman is suffering, then it will transmit to the baby and the baby will be having small head. The symptom is small head, microcephaly. When the mother is affected, then the virus will transmit into the baby. Another symptom means not only by mosquito, not only by the mosquito, by sexual contact, not only by the sexual contact from mother to baby. Also the spread is there. What are the symptoms for Zika virus? The symptoms are headache, conjunctivitis, fever, muscle pain, skin rashes, joint pains. Symptoms also important. So the current affair for 2021 prelims is Zika virus. How we can prevent? Insect repellent, mosquito nets. There is a treatment mechanism also, calling a doctor. So Zika virus is in the news. The virus was first identified in Uganda in 1947 in monkeys, through monkeys. How coronavirus from bats? How Nympha virus, which spread in Kerala few years back, it was virulent in Kerala. It is also from bats. Zika virus is from monkeys. For the first time we observed in monkeys. But there is no scientific observations or scientific studies how monkeys got. But it was being found for the first time in monkeys. So the mosquito might be the transmitter. The mosquito might be the transmitter who is transmitting the virus from the monkeys to the human beings, and then from human beings to human beings, and then from human beings to human beings. It was later identified in humans in 1952 in Uganda and the Tanzania. World Health Organization, the Zika virus treatment or vaccine. The Zika virus has no treatment or vaccine. The prevention is the only solution. Symptoms we know, we observed now only. Consumption of lot of fluids along with the pain and fever medicines for a speedy recovery is a solution. So Zika virus by mosquito, by sexual contact, transmission from the mother to the baby. These are the reasons for the spread of Zika virus. What are the symptoms? Headache, joint pains, conjunctivitis. Yes. There is no medicine, no vaccination for Zika virus. Then what is the medicine? Prevention is the medicine. And having fluids. So why it is in the news? Because recently we observed number of cases increasing in Kerala and Karnataka. And 4 days back, emergency was being declared, a health emergency was being declared in some of the districts of Karnataka because of Zika virus. Hence in the news. The next topic which I am going to discuss. World Population Day. Uttar Pradesh is in the news now. Uttar Pradesh in the news, they want to control the population aggressively. Anybody who is having more than 2 children will not be eligible to apply for the government job, will not be eligible for apply for the local body elections. They will be not getting any government schemes. If only 2 children are there, incentives will be provided. So the Uttar Pradesh is targeting the population control under this Yogi Adityanath leadership. World Population Day. the 11th July, the Uttar Pradesh declared its policy of controlling the population. A draft bill was being placed in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly. A draft bill was being placed in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly to target the population, to reduce the population, decreasing the total fertility rate from 2.7 to 2.1 by 2026 and 1.7 by 2030, means number of children. Total fertility rate means number of children. So now it is 2.7, to reduce it to 2.1 by 2026 and to reduce it to 1.7 by 2030. Total fertility rate means a couple who is having the capacity to give birth, live birth, is more than 2.7. So they want to make it reduce, they want to reduce it by 2030, 1.7. So the total fertility rate is a measurement. Total fertility rate is a measurement of population increase or decrease. Modern contraceptive prevalence rate from 31.7% to 45% by 2026 and 52% by 2030. Contraceptives like condoms, etc. Easy availability of contraceptives so that the population will be controlled by that way. Increase male methods of contraception, use from male methods of contraception, not only female methods of contraceptions, male methods of contraception. Decrease maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, under 5 mortality rate. So target is this. I will tell you one study in this context. You know, wherever there is infant mortality rate is high, the population will think that, this is a study conducted by the Niti Aayog, wherever the infant mortality rate is more or under 5 mortality rate is more, the parents will think that the chance of the death of the infant is more. The parents will think that the chance of the death of the under 5 will be more. So what I will do? I will produce more children. If the child die also, no problem, I have more children. So in this context, they will be producing the more children. So infant mortality means, it doesn't mean that the children are dying. So infant mortality is more, so they produce more children believing that the children will die. Maternal mortality rate, mother died at the time of giving pregnancy, and the husband will think that the chance of the death of the mother is more, he will do another marriage and she will produce the children. Believing that the mother might die, another marriage he will do, more children will be produced. So when infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, under 5 mortality rate is high, means indirectly it results in increase in population. Indirectly it results in population. So if infant mortality is less, then what I will think, anyhow my child will not die. If any fever is there, I will take care about him or I will take care about her. So she will be all right. There is no need to produce another children. So when infant mortality rate is less, the population will be less. So targeting IMR. So this is the policy which was being made by the government of Uttar Pradesh, mainly to reduce the population. The Uttar Pradesh population policy 2021-2030. Any question on population, you can write this. Yes. Creation of awareness, creation of incentives, creation of punishments also. So that the population will be within the control. To increase the accessibility of contraceptives measures issued under the family planning program, to reduce the newborns and maternal mortality rate, to provide for care of the elderly and better management of education, health and nutrition of adolescents between 11 to 19 years. You know, education. Then people have awareness about the small family. Literacy rate, awareness. So contraceptives will be there. So providing education, providing good health care automatically reduce the population. So the research tells that, yes, apart from such sort of policies, if you provide good education and good health, automatically the population will be controlled. The next, acute encephalitis syndrome, AES. acute encephalitis syndrome. Mosquito. Mosquito is the vector, mosquito is the medium. Signs in children: nausea, bulging of the body, stiffness, irritability, encephalitis. Common virus such as herpes simplex virus, Epstein-Barr virus. AES, acute encephalitis virus, in the news, syndrome in the news. The Jal Jeevan Mission has provided tap water supply to more than 97 lakh population, 97 lakh households in 5 Japanese encephalitis acute encephalitis syndrome affected states. The 5 states with priority are Assam, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. In these 5 states, this Japanese acute encephalitis syndrome is very high. So, targeting these 5 states, the government came up with this Jal Jeevan Mission, pure drinking water mainly in this particular 5 states. So that we can eradicate this acute encephalitis syndrome. Supply of 55 liters of water per person per day to every rural households through functional households, mainly by providing good tap water, quality tap water. Why? Because apart from the mosquito, other reason is infected water is also responsible for this disease. RBI's retail direct scheme, RBI's retail direct scheme, RBI's retail direct scheme, simple. Retail investors, Muthoot, Mannapuram, these are called as retail investors who are investing in the government securities. So now the government thought that the local investors should come and invest in the government securities with ease. Means retail means like a shop. I am a shopkeeper which I am registered in one particular state, but I want to invest in government securities, and the government also want to have money. So what they will do? They will release government securities. What they will do? They will release government securities. So a government security of 10,000 crores, I will come, I will put the money, I will take the government securities, which is called as gilt bonds. So the money is with the government can use it for infrastructure development. I have the bond, government security bond, for a limited time period. Again I will give them, they will give me money with interest. So in order to generate the money with the government, when the government is providing the government securities, the RBI made an initiative which is called as RBI's retail direct scheme. So the government securities can be directly bought from the RBI. A account will be opened, a online account will be opened. Through that online account, I can buy the government securities. Just I will open my online account. How much government securities are there today? I am a retail investor here, so I want to buy 1 lakh rupees. I will put 1 lakh rupees as investment, I will take the government securities. Very easy, which will be controlled by the RBI. So the guarantee is RBI. A dedicated online portal will provide registered users access to primary issuance of government securities. So under the RBI it will be working. If you understand this, this is enough. Retail direct scheme. RBI's retail direct scheme means the retailers directly buy the government schemes which are under the control of the government is called as retail direct scheme. So first I have to open an account with RBI, then RBI will give me accessibility. Then what I will do? I will be checking the online portal. Whenever the government securities come, it will be pop up on my online portal. So I will buy it. So the government will get the money. Why? Because I am buying the bond. The money the government use it for the development purpose, and it will be for me like an investment purpose. So that is what RBI's retail direct scheme. RBI is selling the government securities to the retailers directly. So in COVID times, it is very much useful for the government. Why? Because they can get the revenue. They can get the revenue. After Singapore, Bhutan is the second country which is accepting BHIM app. BHIM UPI. Bharat Interface for Money, you know, Unified Payment Interface. First country to accept our BHIM is Singapore. The second country to accept our BHIM is Bhutan. Factual question. Factual information. Okay. So BHIM as a payment interface, after India, Singapore is the first country. And the recent country in this week which accepted BHIM as a payment interface is Bhutan. Factual question. Bhutan has become the first country to adopt India's unified payment interface. After, for the quick response code, it is also the second country after Singapore to have BHIM UPI acceptance at merchant locations after, yes. But for quick response, Bhutan is the first. But for BHIM UPI, second. QR code will be there now. Accepting the QR code of India's first is Bhutan. But overall BHIM UPI is second is Bhutan. A factual question. NTPC, Renewable Energy Limited, you know, National Thermal Power Corporation, which is famous for thermal power generation, which is famous for thermal power generation, which is non-renewable, which is a mineral source. So if I use it, it will be finished. But NTPC now is having a subsidiary, a organ of NTPC which is called as NTPC Renewable Energy Limited, means NTPC is focusing on renewable energy. Means NTPC is focusing on renewable energy, mainly for production of what? Green hydrogen. Hydrogen will be produced how? In the process of mining of the coal, the hydrogen will be produced. But now we want to produce the hydrogen fuel in a green manner, in a renewable manner, in a green manner, renewable manner. Who planned it? NTPC planned it. A 100% subsidiary of NTPC. Hydrogen, when produced by electrolysis using renewable energy, is known as green hydrogen, which has no carbon footprint. The hydrogen that is in use today is produced using fossil fuels. With the coal, with the petrol, we are producing the hydrogen, but it is produced from the fossil fuel. So not that much beneficial for the environment. But now we are planning for a green hydrogen which is produced from electrolysis using renewable energy. Electrolysis using renewable energy known as green hydrogen. Like organic matter we will use, earthworms we will use, or different sources we will use, and when the hydrogen is releasing, I will capture the hydrogen. This hydrogen I will use for the production of the electricity, that is green hydrogen. Yes, up to now hydrogen is used as a fuel, but produced from the fossil fuel. But now NTPC Renewable Energy Limited is focusing on production of green hydrogen, that hydrogen which is produced from organic material. Organic means no pollution. Green hydrogen energy is vital for India to meet its nationally determined contributions. Another concept. Nationally determined contribution. We have, India have nationally determined contributions, INDC, at Paris Summit. In Paris Climate Summit, we declared that in Paris Climate Summit, we declare that we are going to have nationally determined contribution and we will be reducing the carbon footprint. The carbon which is released will be reduced. The renewable energy which we are going to use will be increased. The fossil energy which we are using will be reduced. So, we ourselves voluntarily determined that. That is called as nationally determined contribution for the reduction of footprint, carbon footprint. So, this type of green hydrogen will help in reaching our targets. Act as an energy storage option which would be essential to meet intermittence of renewable energy in the future. So, mainly it is a clean burning, environment friendly, zero carbon footprint, by which the electricity which is going to produce will have no impact on the environment. So, we can reach the target of nationally determined contributions of the Paris Climate Summit. So, it is a renewable energy. It is a renewable energy. Prelims point of view, what is green hydrogen, how the green hydrogen is manufactured? Green hydrogen is manufactured from the organic materials. Before that, we have hydrogen as fuel, but which is produced from the fossil fuels. But now we are producing the hydrogen from the organic material, so it is called as green hydrogen. The waste I will collect, all the waste I will collect and I will do electrolysis. I will do the electrolysis. So, the gas will be releasing, which is called as hydrogen. That hydrogen scientifically I will use and I will use it for the purpose of manufacturing the electricity, that is green hydrogen. Expected question, science and technology. Sankalp se siddhi, mission Vanadan. Sankalp se siddhi, when we have sankalp, then we reach the target. When we have objective, we will reach the target. Sankalp means objective, siddhi means output. So, the Prime Minister of India have the sankalp for making the lives of the tribal peoples better, so that their living standards will increase, for which he had a scheme called as Mission Vanadan, a mission called as Mission Vanadan, Forest Dan. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs reviewed various initiatives under Sankalp se Siddhi Mission Vanadan by TriFed, Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation. Sankalp se Siddhi initiative, also known as Mission Vanadan, introduced by the central government in line with the Prime Minister's aim to establish the sustainable livelihood of India's tribal population, for making the lives of the tribals better. Through this mission, TriFed means a marketing agency of tribes. TriFed means a marketing agency of tribes. Like FCI is a marketing agency for food procurement. FCI will go to the farmers and it will procure the food grains. TriFed also a government agency which go to the tribal areas and procure the minor forest produce like honey, lac, resins, tendu leaves, etc. So, I no need to go outside, I no need to worry that where I have to sell my honey. I will go to the TriFed, see this is my honey, please give me back the money, I am a tribal. I will go to the TriFed, I will give my honey, I will give my lac, I will give my resin, give me the money. So, the government center who is buying my products, Mission Vanadan, Vana, forest, Dan, given. The forest which is given to the tribals can be sold out at a TriFed. Through this mission, TriFed aims to expand its operations through convergence of various schemes of different ministries and departments and launch various tribal development programs in mission mode. Through this mission, establishment of several Vanadan Vikas Kendras, Haat Bazaars, mini TriFood units, common facility centers, TriFood parks, scheme for fund for regeneration of traditional industries, all will be submerged so that the tribe is going to get the benefit or not. review will be happening whether the tribals are getting benefited or not under the mission called as Vanadan. So, last week what happened, the government of India launched a mission called as Mission Vanadan, in which all the government schemes were being reviewed whether the tribals are getting benefited by these schemes or not. Vanadan Vikas Yojana, a component of minimum support price for minor forest produce, minimum support price. So, there is a guarantee under this Vanadan Vikas Yojana or Vanadan scheme. This is resin. There is a TriFed. Under this scheme, a minimum support price is provided to this minor forest produce. I will be very happy. I can calculate. Each one is 10 rupees according to TriFed. 100 are there, 100 into 10,000 rupees. I am guaranteed that I will get 1000 rupees. If there is no minimum support price, I don't know how much they will sell it. So, there will be no certainty. So, the government created certainty through minimum support price for minor forest produce. Targeting livelihood generation, clusters, kendras will be opened targeting tribal development. Targeting tribal development. TriFed, the Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India, came into existence in 1987. It is a national level apex organization functioning under the administrative control of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, like FCI for agriculture, TriFed for tribes. The ultimate objective of TriFed is socio-economic development of the tribes by way of marketing development of the tribal products such as metal craft, tribal textiles, pottery, tribal paintings, potteries, etc., so that the income of the tribals will be increased. So, TriFed for tribals, FCI for farmers, so that their social economic development will take place. If anyone is having anthropology optional, then this is the most important point you have to write in your tribal development. National Ayush Mission. The government has decided to continue the National Ayush Mission, a centrally sponsored scheme. So, a National Ayush Mission was been extended till 2026. Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy, a separate ministry was been established which is called as Ministry of Ayush. This Ayush is also called as alternative medicine system. Apart from allopathy medicine, a mission mode was been started and now extended to 2026 last week. Hence important. Amount is dedicated. Recently, new portals on the Ayush sector wise was been created. Launched in 2014 by the Department of Ayush under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, then independent ministry also established. Yes. Now it is implemented by the Ministry of Ayush. This national mission, the National Ayush Mission, will be targeting improvement in alternative medicines. It is extended till 2026. So, the people confidence on this alternative medicines will enhance. What the Constitution says on dismissal of government employees, this is in the news. Jammu and Kashmir, what happened in Jammu and Kashmir? The Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir got the doubt that there are some government employees who are supporting the terrorists, who are the sympathizers of the terrorists. Then the Lieutenant Governor removed them from their service. So, under which article of the Constitution the Lieutenant Governor removed the civil servants of the Jammu and Kashmir? Government servants of the Jammu and Kashmir under the article 311. Under 311, the security of tenure is provided to the civil servant. Only the person who is appointing him can remove. Like All India Service Officer can be removed by the President, and the State Service Officer can be removed by the Governor in the state and Lieutenant Governor in the Jammu and Kashmir. So, the Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor removed some of the officers of the Jammu and Kashmir, doubting them that they are the sympathizers of terrorism. Terrorists. Then what is their remedy, sir? Where they can appeal? Then they can appeal in the High Court. On appeal, on further appeal, they can go to the Supreme Court. On appeal they can go to the High Court, on further appeal they can go to the Supreme Court. Article 311 of the Constitution deal with the dismissal, removal or reduction in rank of persons employed in civil capacities under the union or state. If it is union, president. If it is state, governor. If it is union territory, lieutenant governor. So he removed some of the officers. So you also, if you are preparing for group 1 or group 2 or UPSC civil services examination, your security of tenure is guaranteed. You can be removed only by the person who appointed you, that is the President of India if you are writing UPSC. If you are removed in unjustified way, then you can appeal in the High Court and further appeal in the Supreme Court. The safeguard of an inquiry does not apply where the authority is satisfied that for some reason to be recorded by that authority in writing is not reasonably practicable to hold such inquiry. Remedy: the only available remedy to terminated employees is to challenge the government decision in the High Court. I can go to the High Court. Again, not directly to the Supreme Court. First I have to go to the High Court. From there I have to go to the Supreme Court. NASA's Viper mission, which targeting whether the chance of life is existing in the outer space. That is the major motto of the Viper mission. Whether there is any chance of life in the outer space. You know, when you are reading current affairs, you should not read everything. For every current affair topic, only one sentence you have to remember. What is the crux? You should not round trip. Yes, background is important. Like when I am discussing how I discussed about the trifid, background is important. But for such science and technology issues, no need to go in detail. Okay, NASA's Viper mission, what is the function of it? Volatiles investigating polar exploration rover on 2023. A rover will be going into the outer space and will be searching whether life is possible or not. The mission to understand if it is possible for human life to sustain there by using locally available resources, whether life is there, or if the human go to there, whether he can sustain there. Whether life is there, or else if a man from earth go there, whether he can sustain there. That is the two mottos of this Viper mission, which started last week. So one, whether life can exist. Number two, the people who go out and settle there, whether they are going to continue. Is a mobile robot, a robot will go. A resource mapping mission in celestial objects, in foreign objects. That is the major motto. Mainly to explore the moon south pole, help create lunar resource maps. First we are going to the moon. Whether the resources are available for the sustainability of the man on the moon is possible or not is studied by the mission called as NASA's Viper mission. NASA's Viper mission. Right to repair movement, very important environment point of view. Right to repair movement. I have the computer. I have a computer here. You know how this goods will be manufactured? They will make. You know, all the electronic goods which we sell on commercial scale, like TV, fridge, interactive panels, they do intentionally that they won't work after some time, which is called as obsolescence. Planned obsolescence means intentionally they will do that. This won't work after 10 years. Why? Because again business they want to know. So now a movement is going on commercial scale. There should not be planned obsolescence. Means they have to make a quality good such that there should not be any expiry time. It should be good for all the times. If any problem comes, yes, there should be a solution, but the solution should not be dismantling it. When we dismantle, what will happen? Not on business scale, on environment scale, what will happen? Electronic waste will generate. Electronic waste will be accumulating, which is having toxic elements, which will destroy the environment. So, taking into consideration electronic waste, protection of the environment, right to repair movement is happening in United States of America. A solution to problem of e-waste generation. Right to repair electronic products is a reference to the need for government legislation that is intended to allow consumers the ability to repair and modify their own electronic devices. I should be in a position to make this, if this repair happens, I should be in a position to make it repair. I should not dismantle it, I should not throw it off. So, chance of repair should be there. Then what will happen? Electronic waste will be reduced. Electronic waste will be reduced. This is one point for your mains question on environment pollution, electronic waste, reduction of the waste, right to repair movement. From USA, from the automotive industries, protect environment in long term by reducing the wastes, electronic waste. Is an electronic waste is electrical or electronic equipment that has been discarded. It is particularly dangerous due to toxic chemicals which are present there. Right to repair. So, dismantle should not be the solution. There should be a chance for repairing it. Opening up intellectual property of tech companies to third party repair services could lead to exploitation and impact the safety and security of their devices. This is the problem. But there are some concerns. If how this system has been designed, inside this, what are there? If I open it off, the chance of intellectual property will be diluted. The people might make counterfeit products, the duplicates will come out. That is the concern. If the system is opened outside, making it more vulnerable to cyber hacking and associated privacy concern, e-waste okay, but cyber attacks will increase. Anyone can enter into this computer device if the system is opened. India's initiative waste awareness program under Digital India, waste management rules 2016, these rules are very important. Waste management rules, solid waste management rules, municipal waste management rules, medical waste management rules are very important prelims point. E-waste clinics enable segregating, processing and disposal of the waste. The initiatives of the last in this week, the most important current affairs. Needs for changes in anti-defection law. Yes. 10th schedule of the constitution talks about anti-defection law. The person who win the election by one party and jumps into another party, he will be disqualified under this anti-defection law. If one person is not acting according to the whip of the political party, then he will be disqualified by this anti-defection law. So, there is a question that by using this anti-defection law, whether you are hurting my free will, my democratic rights, I might accept my party's decision in one issue, I might not accept my party's decision in one issue. When I am not happy with the decision of my political party, why I should accept it? Is it not violation of my right to life and liberty? It's not violation of my right to take a decision? That is the issue. That is the big criticism for anti-defection law. The leader of opposition in the Goa Legislative Assembly is said to move a private member's resolution to recommend to the central government to address the various issues associated with anti-defection law. What is anti-defection law? Means I will win these elections by this political party symbol, I will jump into another political party because they are giving me ministry berth, which is very common in our India. No ethics. In that context, anti-defection law is good, but there are some concerns. What are those? The 10th schedule, popularly known as anti-defection law, which is included to the constitution by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which will be disqualifying the legislatures who are defected to another political party. So, the grounds for a disqualification is if an elected member voluntarily gives up his membership of a political party, this is correct. I won by BJP party. On the name of BJP party, on the symbol of lotus, I won. After winning the election, I don't want to this political party. Means it is cheating the people. No, people will think that this person told I am from BJP, so we voted him. After winning the election, he is telling that I am not going to be in this party. Then anti-defection law will be applied. This is genuine. If he votes or abstains from voting in such house contrary to any direction issued by his political party or anyone authorized to do so without obtaining prior permission. Now, I am from BJP, but there is a bill was being placed in the parliament saying that India will be made a Hindu Rashtra. I am totally against it. I am a secular person. But the BJP party gave whip, but I am against it. But as a part of the member of the political party, I have to vote it against my will, which is a big criticism for anti-defection law. If any person goes against the whip of the political party through which he win, which he was successful, then he will be disqualified under the grounds of anti-defection law. This is questioned, this is criticized. If any independent elected member joins any political party, if any nominated member joins any political party after the expiry of 6 months, so these are the some of the conditions, but this one, very soon I will make a complete video on anti-defection law, very important, very interesting also. Ayaram, Gayaram story is there. Morning one party, afternoon another party, evening another party. For those people, anti-defection law is good, but the people who are working genuinely, yes, I am the person of this political party, but I don't like this policy, this specific policy. I want to reject it, but the anti-defection law is not allowing me to reject it. Why? Because I will be disqualified. So this is the concern. So why is it in the news? It is in the news because the Goa leader of opposition had made a private resolution in the Goa Assembly and he want to pursue the central government to remove this clause. Undermining representative democracy. After enactment of the anti-defection law, the MP or MLA has to follow the party's direction blindly. Why I should follow the party's direction blindly? Undermining legislature. The core role of an elected MP or MB is to examine and decide on a policy, bills and budget. But I am listening to the political party. If not, I will be disqualified. Underlying parliamentary democracy. In the parliamentary form, the government is accountable daily through questions and motions and can be removed anytime it loses the support of the majority of the members of the Lok Sabha. Sometimes I don't want to be the party, I will vote against my party only. It is my free will. But you are telling you will be disqualified. These are the some of the issues. Controversial role of speaker. In many instances, the speaker, usually from the ruling party, has delayed deciding on the disqualification. Yes. No recognition of split. Due to the 91st Constitutional Amendment 2004, the anti-defection law created an exception for anti-defection ruling. If a party is divided, no anti-defection. So these are some of the criticisms of anti-defection law. Every time, every year it will be a current issue. So these are all the current issues, very important for your July month, July 2nd week.